I've mentioned this many times. I never know how to start these videos. You know, a lot of people, we YouTubers in the community, a lot of us have these catchphrases. You know, they always say something to get your attention, and I don't have one of those. And I'm not sure if it's because I don't want one or just because I'm not creative enough to think of one. So I never know how to start or what to say. So sometimes I try to come up with little things to let you into a little window into my life. So what I'll tell you about today, and I'll try to be brief. When we last spoke, I was talking about the Motorhead record, the 4-album Motorhead set, Everything on Auto Forever. And I had talked about the Paul McCartney tickets had just gone on sale at 2 o'clock, and I was doing the video at 2:15 or 2:20. And I was logged in and waiting in the virtual line, and I gave up. There's no way I was going to do it. But then I was still logged in and still in that virtual line. And after I did the video and I put everything away and blah, 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 and I went back at 3:44 and it said, hey, it's your turn, you're next, you're up to bat, you're on deck, you're on the on-deck circle. And I thought I'll see what happens. And of course I did it, and yeah, there were no tickets left. So that was it. If I had waited all that time, it would have been from 2 o'clock to 3:44 p.m. That's how long the virtual line was. And tickets were sold out. I'm sure another show will be announced maybe as soon as this week, maybe. Who knows? I don't know how it works. But guaranteed, if a show sells out in an hour at a 60,000 seat stadium, there's a lot of scratch to be made. They're not going to left all that money on the table. They're not going to leave all that money on the table, so that will. But I did what I was supposed to do. So to my friend Nash and to Lily, I don't apologize. I tried for tickets. I spent my time, but I will get them. I did what I was supposed to do. I did everything right. I logged in. I waited in line. I just didn't get the tickets. I did everything. I did everything right, and they indicted me. I did everything right, and I didn't get the tickets. So I'll try again. So that was my introduction. So now on to Kiss Asylum. Now going back even further, I talked about Dynasty a month or a month and a half ago. And I said that was going to be it for Kiss for a while because there were no more Kiss records available on Amazon, at least not at prices that I wanted to or was willing to pay. And then boom, out of nowhere, I got what was the one I talked about recently? Unmasked. That was never available, or it was stupidly expensive. And all of a sudden, it was affordable. And there were three other ones. I think. This is one. So there's still at least one more Kiss to come after this one. Any guesses to what it is? But say this is Asylum. So this wasn't on Amazon, and then it showed up all of a sudden for a fair price, and I got it. So I'm going to talk about Asylum now. This came out in 1985. I'd been a Kiss fan at this point, or at that point, for 9 years. It seemed like much longer, but time has a way of feeling differently depending on your age. Feeling different. And I look back on my notes when I did the Kiss official rankings 2 years ago, whenever that was, a year ago. I had Asylum at 13 out of 24, so just barely was it 13? Yeah, I was in the bottom half, so just barely in the bottom half. I had it higher than Unmasked. I had Unmasked at 10, and after listening to Unmasked a couple of times recently and talking about it, I'm not sure. Maybe I do like Asylum better than Unmasked. I'm not sure. Definitely better than Animalize, which was the one that came before it. Infinitely better than Crazy Nights, which was the one that came after it. I think we have a tendency to always compare records to the ones that came before them, and then retrospectively the ones that came after them. We maybe look at them in 3 album stretches. And for Asylum, in between Animalize and Crazy Nights, Asylum is definitely my favorite. Way better than Crazy Nights. Crazy Nights was very low on the list. Now, maybe the reason I like this so much is I have a bond with it. This was the first time, this tour, the Asylum tour, was the first time that I saw Kiss live. After 9 years of fandom, I finally saw them, and I do have, I have a prop. There's my ticket stub from my first Kiss show ever. This was April 8th, 1986. This was, I believe, the last or maybe second last show of the tour, and you can see I wrote on it, King Cobra opened. If anybody remembers King Cobra, Mick Sueda, who went on to the Bullet Boys. A couple years later, Carmine Appice, Mark Free, or I guess he's Marcy Free now. and all those other guys with blonde hair, they opened for them. Now, the thing that makes me think that it was the last show of the tour is I swear I remember some hijinks, you know, pies in the face at the end of the show, or, you know, something, the crew or somebody dropping something from the top of the stage. But anyway, so I saw this tour, and oh my God, I was so excited at the time. I was 16 years old. I was finally seeing Kiss, and I guess looking back on it, Kiss, that was not a good time for Kiss. From, let's say, 84, 85 through 91, not in terms of recording, not that good. Hot in the Shade was a great tour, but they were still, they had taken off the makeup at this point. I can put that down. But they wore more makeup. You know, it was their glam period. Kiss was always chasing trends, and they were looking here more like, even though it was before Poison came out, they look more like Poison, Motley Crue, Theater of Pain era, even though I guess that came out around the same time as Asylum. But yeah, glam, rock, whatever you want to call it, was kind of popular then. So Kiss was getting on the bandwagon. But I do have good memories of that album and that tour, that show. Another thing I remember about it, if you care, my aunt had died. She had not been ill as of late, but she did die. That's a Seinfeld reference. If you caught it, you're really cool. She died a day, now maybe probably 2 days before the concert. Her funeral was on the next, I think this was on a Tuesday. It was on, I remember that, it was on a Tuesday. And I think her funeral was on a Wednesday, so I almost would have missed Kiss. I guess I would have had to go to my aunt, her name was Billie Jean, Aunt Billie Jean's funeral. But her funeral was the next day. Is that morbid to remember my dead aunt related to this Kiss concert? And oh, I'll give you a little bit more information. She was from and lived in, and I guess had her funeral, was in Stratford, Ontario, the home of Justin Bieber. That's tying everything together. So there it is. That's Kiss Asylum. And I got this a couple of weeks ago. I peeked at it. I did this to look, just to see that it was the right one. So it is kind of an unboxing. I just have to, so this one is open. I have to open this flap. And there's no, you know, they come in these sometimes, and there's not one of these in this one. Sometimes the corners get dinged. They put, you know, and this airspace is kind of pointless in this, because the problem is that it's shifting, not that it's going up and down like this. So let me see the condition of it. Oh, it looks, okay. It looks all right. There it is. Maybe not the best album cover, is it? They went back to the solo album covers. Paul had purple, Gene red, Bruce blue. He took over Ace's blue color, and Eric Carr had green. That he was taking over Peter Criss's color since he took over his position on the drums. And there they are, very, very colorful record. This was also the first Kiss shirt I ever had, because I bought the shirt at the Asylum show tonight, and I didn't have amazingly, I didn't have a Kiss shirt before that. I had other rock shirts, but didn't have Kiss. I remember that shirt was in horrible condition, even after one wash. It was one of these ones that was all stretched and was in really, really bad condition. But there it is. It's got the hype sticker on it. All of these Kiss 2014 reissues have the same hype sticker. 180 gram audiophile vinyl. First U.S. vinyl pressing since 1985 editions. Exclamation point. So there it is. And I'm going to go through it track by track. If you'll please wait just a minute. All right, getting to it. So I'm going to go through it track by track. Now, just one last thing about this album in general. It's not, at this point in 1985, Kiss had, I mean, I still like them. I still love them. But they had kind of a little bit fallen out of favor with me. I discovered many more bands since I got into Kiss from 1976 to like 1980. Kiss was really the only band I knew. And then, you know, I get into music a little bit more in 80, 81, 82. By 85, I was into Metallica and Slayer and Rat and, I don't know, Motley Crue. And so Kiss had they were no longer the twinkle in my eye. I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it. So this was never my favorite album. You know, we used to do these lists of your top 10 records of the year. At this point, I think this record maybe didn't make my list of favorite records of 1985. And I didn't listen to it a lot like I used to, listen to, whatever, even going back one album to Lick It Up. I listened to that album a lot. This one, I know it well enough. I'm quite familiar with it, but this was kind of the beginning of it was Animalize before this. I listened to this, this and Animalize. Lick It Up maybe was the last one that I listened to a lot. And then Animalize tailed off a little bit, and this one even more. Anyway, so there it is. So I'll open it up now. And you know what? I can't remember. What does this look like inside? I think it had like pictures that look like a film strip. You know, with the I don't want to poke myself in the eye. The pictures like this in the film strip. It had the down the side. You know what film looks like. Maybe it looked like what film looks like. I think it was something like that. Let's take a look. All right. And again, I say this every time. They look so much better when you open them up. The matte. I say this every time. I'm so repetitive. Nice, very nice matte finish without the gloss of the cellophane. And there's the back. And like film, as I said. And it did have the lyrics. This was, I guess at this point, Kiss was putting the lyrics. I think the first Kiss record that had the lyrics was Creatures of the Night, or was it, I don't know if The Elder did or not, but at this point, Kiss was putting lyrics pretty much in every record. And there it is, same as the other. It's just the Mercury logo. So going through this now, track by track. The first one is King of the Mountain, and I don't think they played too much from this album live. I don't know if they ever played King of the Mountain. I should have checked the set list from when I saw them on this tour. But King of the Mountain, I'm going to climb the mountain. I'm going to climb the mountain. I'm going to climb the mountain. I'm going to hit the top. I want to go where nobody's ever been. I'm never going to stop. Typical Paul Stanley lyrics about, striving to be the best and reaching for the top and everything. It's a pretty good song, good opening song, and had that big air car drum intro. Very up-tempo. Yeah, I guess good opener anyway. Anyway, I love this song. I think this is a great song. Very cheesy, classic. If King of the Mountain was classic Paul, any way you slice it was classic Gene. I like that the guitar at the beginning. It's kind of bouncy. No, I don't want to sing guitar. And yeah, the Gene lyrics, and it's got that cool middle section that was similar to this. Maybe it could have fit on Lick It Up. It's like Dance All Over Your Face or On the Eighth Day, something like that. What was the middle part? Yeah, all right. Well, if I told you once, I told you twice. If I told you once, I told you twice. Listen, babe, here's my advice, or take my advice. Don't settle for nothing and forget the rest. Let me be your king bee. I want your hornet's nest. Let me check that, something like that. And now what I don't like about that part is the Eric Carr drums. They sounded kind of electronic at that time. I don't know if they really were, but the drums didn't sound good during that part, because it was just Gene singing over the drums. Well, if I told you once, I told you twice. Just listen, babe, and take my advice. Why settle for seconds when you can have the best, of course? Let me be your king bee. I want your hornet's nest. That's kind of like, let me put my log in your fireplace. Stupid and cheesy, but I like that song. And a guy called Howard Rice. There were a lot of co-writes on this album. Desmond Child co-wrote King of the Mountain with Paul Stanley and Bruce Kulick. Howard Rice, I remember the name, but I don't know who he is. Co-wrote Any Way You Slice It. Anyway, the next song is Who Wants to Be Lonely? This was the single. I think it was maybe the second single, although I don't think they ever played it live. I love Who Wants to Be Lonely. I think it's a great, great song. Amongst, I don't know if it's my favorite on this album, but top one anyway. I think the other two singles Well, I'll talk about those when I get to them. Tears Are Falling and All Night. But I think Who Wants to Be Lonely is a fantastic song. The videos, there are videos that in this era were very questionable. Paul Stanley had his neon green. Remember, he had the bike reflectors on his jacket or his guitar strap or something. That was a strange look for Kiss visually. After Who Wants to Be Lonely, I was going to say, or maybe I did say, I don't think they ever played Who Wants to Be Lonely live. I don't know. Trial by Fire, these alternate. So it was Paul, Gene, Paul, Gene, Paul. Yeah. Gene, Paul, Gene, Paul, Paul. They alternate until the last two songs of the record. Trial by Fire, it's okay. Just that, kind of a. Is that the one that opens with the drums? It's a trial by fire. I want to live my life. Oh yeah, that song. It's not so good. And then the last song on side one is I'm Alive. This is a very up tempo. This, it is this one. This one's very fast. Similar maybe to Under the Gun from Animalize, the previous record. I think it had that same vibe to it. Really, really fast Kiss song. I like that one. Living life. How does that? Where's the lyrics? Too many women. I've got too little time. I keep on trying. Man, if it kills me, know that I'll go. I live in life for love. I'm alive. Yeah, I'm alive. Yeah, that song's pretty good. Yeah. All right, side two is Love's a Deadly Weapon. This is a similar song to I'm Alive. Up-tempo, fast rock and Gene song. Love's a deadly weapon and murder's on my mind. That song's okay. Tears Are Falling, the other single. This is the first single from this record. Love that one too. I think Paul's songs on this one, similar to Animalize. I think Paul's songs were overall better than Gene's, although Gene's songs on this album were way better than on Animalize. Lonely is the Hunter and Murder in High Heels. No thanks. Next song, Secretly Cruel. This is my favorite song on this album. I love this song. To me, this is almost like could be classic Kiss. It's got that opening riff, which from the very first time I heard it, it reminded me of Mr. Speed. And it's a Gene song. And again, it's got classic Gene lyrics. I saw my pictures hanging on her wall. She cut it out of the magazine. It was a hot day. She wore lingerie and nothing else in between. Ooh, she had long hair, thigh-high, snakeskin boots, and she was all over me like a cheap suit. Then she bared herself. Then she bared herself and stripped my soul. Began to shake, rattle, and roll, and I took control. But I know she's secretly cool. She grabbed my hair and I began to rise. You know what he's talking about there when he says I began to rise. She grabbed my hair and I began to rise. I could tell what she wanted by the look in her eyes. Ooh, how by that look in her eyes. I don't know if you could say that in a song these days. I knew what she wanted by the look in her eyes. Was he just assuming that she wanted sexual intercourse? Can't assume that anymore. But yeah, Secretly Cool. I love that song. Very, very silly, as a lot of these songs are. But aren't all Kiss songs silly in some way? Next is Radar for Love. And what does he say at the beginning of that? Is that what you do? It's Paul Stanley's song. Is that what you do? And I think people have said this has like a Led Zeppelin vibe to it. Maybe a little bit like Keep Me Coming from Creatures of the Night, which a lot of people also say has a Led Zeppelin vibe to it. I like this song a lot. It's actually, yeah, Paul's songs. This is a very good Paul album. Gene is quite good, but yeah, Radar for Love is good. And now, All Night. Now, this song is silly, stupid, horrible lyrics, juvenile. Oh, I love it. I really, maybe this one or Secretly Cruel is my favorite. I used to listen to this song over and over and over again. Love it, despite its, negativity, the negative things I said about it. Very, very catchy. Desmond Child co-wrote this one, and Jean Beauvoir. He co-wrote also Love's a Deadly Weapon was Gene and Paul and Rod Swenson. No idea who that is. And West Beach. I know I'm going backwards. Desmond Child co-wrote King of the Mountain, Who Wants to Be Lonely, I'm Alive, Radar for Love, and All Night. So Desmond Child is all over this record. Everywhere around the world. Everywhere. Everybody's doing time. Freedom comes at 5:15. Prison starts at 8:45. It takes a hardworking lover to keep on towing the line. I'll meet you under the covers. I get excited. I'm so excited. Will we work all day? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I would say it's a great song. Maybe it's a really bad song, but I love it. Yeah, that's it. So it's a simple album. Kiss albums back then, like a lot of bands, they were 10 songs, direct to the point, no ballads on this. I guess a little bit more participation from Gene. I'm not sure. I know Paul Stanley said that Gene had checked out around this time, but that's it for Asylum. I really like this. Maybe I would put it higher after talking about Unmasked pretty recently, and then this one now, and listening to it because I listened to this yesterday. Yeah, maybe I like this more than I thought. Anyway, that's all. More Kiss to come. More whatever to come. I've got a lot of stuff still to come. Lots of other bands. More Kiss. But that's all for Kiss Asylum.